What is up, everybody? Welcome to the Eddy Live Show, episode number 206. I'm here with returning guest, Steven Shu.
Hi, guys. How's it going?
What's up, brother? Thanks for coming, man.
No, thank you for having me, Eddie.
Yeah, bro. So how you been, Brad?
No, it's been crazy, right, since last time we met.
Yep.
I have started my own gym and just jumped in, dive head into having a gym with my business partner. And, yeah, it's been a crazy 2 years since I came back.
Yeah, it's been a while, right?
It's been a while, yeah.
Right on, brother.
All
so
right.
AZ Fight Club.
Yeah, AZ Fight Club. Here it is, guys.
AZ Fight Club,
We are
man.
in like Yanjijie, Dan area. We are doing furnishing right now, actually. We're going to have a grand reopening September 16th, and then 4 p.m. Oh, I welcome. There's going to be an open mat. There's going to be food and drinks.
Beautiful.
Yeah. Oh, that's another thing I'm going to talk to you about. Yeah,
Let's
actually.
go.
Yeah. So, everybody's welcome. Like, my gym do more of like a no-gi sub-bowling orientated style, where it's like less about points. So, if you don't like counting numbers, come to me.
Yeah.
Because my wife used to be really pissed at me, be like, how do you lose? How do you only have two ways of winning or losing? You'd rather lose by 12 points or you win by submissions. Because I would before, up here, the jiu-jitsu heads out there, before I'll literally give up mounts just to do a leg lock. So I will throw up like 12 points.
Okay.
They will just mount, 12 points, and then I lose, yeah.
Gotcha, man.
Yeah.
So obviously that's a big jump for you, right?
Yeah.
From being like, the BJJ guy, you know, one of the main guys in the community, national team guy, right? And then taking the next step to opening a gym, right?
Yeah.
So what was the idea behind that?
Well, so what happened was, last time we talked, we were like mid-COVID, right?
COVID is rough.
Oh, God, COVID is so rough. And it was rough afterwards, too. So we were mid-COVID, and then I was start doing freelance work, like other other MMA gyms around Taiwan.
Yeah.
And then I walk into AZ Fight Club with my business partner now, Kevin.
Yep.
He's the original owner, and I'm like, I like this place because it's kind of like remind me of gym when I first started learning fighting. It's a little older. It's a little bit old school. There's still like work to be done, but I was like, this is where work gets done because
it's like that Rocky feeling, right?
Exactly.
Club de Lang gym.
Exactly, because before I used to teach at like fancy gyms.
Yeah.
And before I used to complain about like how cold it is, and then like people complain about blood and like sweats.
Oh
and
my
stuff.
gosh, he's bleeding.
Exactly. Now we don't bleed all the time, but all I'm saying is that like, you come here for fighting.
Yeah.
Obviously, it's not the best approach to like grant to a wide audience, but I'm not saying that making unwelcome. I'm saying that as in, like, I want to teach something real.
Yeah.
Rather than, because I used to teach at like a 9-round fitness thing where it's kind of like cardio kickboxing, where I just kind of filter down my knowledge into
Taibo, Billy Blank's Taibo
exactly.
style.
and then and that's when I was like, hey, I was talking to my wife, I was like, hey, let's dive right in this, and then that's just my luck, because after we decided to jump in on the AZ thing in March.
Yeah.
COVID happened again. My wife literally arrived, and then COVID happened again for like 3 months.
Yeah.
It's like, and then before, because there was previous staffing changes, like all of the previous AZs, most of the AZ student before left, and then I took over and then tried to start my new batch of students, which is a brand new experience, that's what I want to ask you about too, because man, entrepreneurship thing is not easy, to say the least. It's like never give up.
It's very tough, man, for sure. I think the first thing, I think you're doing the right thing. I think you have to believe in your product, right? And definitely, there's always going to be kind of like the fancy-ish thing. We talked about it just a second ago about that Rocky feel, right? Like you want that vibe where you know things are getting done, right?
Yeah.
Work's getting done. Like I said earlier, when we started, we tried to make it kind of that hole in the wall vibe. Yeah, but it's a tougher. Yeah, it's tough, man. It's a tough gig, and also like you were saying, you've got the BJJ and you've got the connections and your national team and you fucking great English, great Chinese, and it's fantastic. It's just when you open a business, then you see like all this crazy stuff behind the curtain, right? And you're
exactly.
Like, what? Yeah.
Yeah, there's the logistics, there's the marketing. Because before I did marketing, I was like, like I put out like a Facebook ad, and it's like, this is not getting the results I wanted, and it's like how to do that, how to do logistics, how to do and then how to pass all the words out there. Yeah, it's first before I opened, I thought I had like all the tools because I was like, all right, I did sales, I did like jiu-jitsu. I know like some fundamental Muay Thai from Vince. Shout out to Vince.
Shout out to
Vince. And then he actually coached Zhang Weili and stuff. So so like he's legit. Okay. So Vince, jiu-jitsu, Chinese, English. I know business, and I was like, all right, I had all the tools now to get myself started.
Yeah.
And then when we start, and I was like, oh no, there's all these things.
Cool. It's good. Keep going.
Yeah.
Sorry.
No, there's all these things I'm not considering, and I'm like, whoa, this is. Because I didn't realize all the hard work that's involved with like the structure. Because I thought, before jiu-jitsu, the product just teach jiu-jitsu, and then it's like people will come because you teach good jiu-jitsu, and also I have to separate the whole like competing and being a business owner thing.
Yeah.
Because before I had that problem because I'm a competitive guy, as most people know in Taiwan. Like I like to compete.
You're quite a high level, actually. Jiu-jitsu.
Thank you. I'm okay.
Okay, well.
Yeah. I try to be a little humble. Yeah, I try to be humble. I am. So it's like, I try to compete, but what I realize is it's like detrimental to my business. Because if
That's tough. I get it. Mm-hmm.
Because if I actually got a shout out to my friend Justin here. Actually, Justin mentioned this a couple days ago because I'm actually training with Justin and David for the Asian Games. So guys, check a look out for that.
Okay.
Because David's gonna be representing Taiwan for the first time
Beautiful.
in the Asian Games. He's the only one, so it's gonna be amazing. But my friend Justin.
Shout out to David Wei, man. He's fantastic.
Yeah, David Wei and Justin. So what Justin says, like, dude, and he runs Taiwan BJJ in Taichung, and then like a big gym with a lot of people.
Yeah.
And quite successful too.
Yeah.
He's like, how did you get here? He's like, you gotta give up the idea that everybody's gonna be you. He's like, think about statistically. Over 200 people probably walks in your door. Probably 1,000 people walk through my door.
Yeah.
How many people do you think is you? That competes every day, takes the hard break, and then like trains 3 hours a day, 6 days a week, just because I don't win all the time. Like I lose, and it's heartbreaking because like
sure.
If you put in like 18 training units a week and you still lose, which happens to me, it's devastating.
Sure.
Right? And he's like, how many people do you think can take that heartbreak? And I'm like,
less than 1%.
And
probably.
that's what he says, less than 1%.
Yeah.
Because all of them are like you. They will open their own gym already. And I'm like, that's true. And after I give up that mindset and forcing that on my students, and that's actually way better. And now I'm just kind of teaching more of a, hey, you can compete if you want to. You want to count points if you want to. But this is going to be more of a no-gi, sub-only style where everybody can try and have fun, Because the points game is like hard and then like this brutal and that's something I learned through the first year of business.
Yeah, well,
just like I gotta separate the competitor
Yeah.
from the business owner, but because being competitive too, because I will cut weight and stuff, and then like my student would be like, "Oh, Steve is very grouchy right now. He's
cutting weight."
Yeah,
okay.
because I do cut quite a bit. We'll talk about that later when we get to the fasting.
Sure. I'm definitely interested in that. Yeah.
Yeah.
No. So basically, just a quick little story. So McDonald's, right? Everybody knows McDonald's, right? Is it the best burger you've ever had? Definitely not. Definitely not. But do you know anyone that can make a better burger than McDonald's? Of course. Probably.
That's true.
There's a place around the corner, Louis Burger, fantastic, smash burger, way better. But they just have to take, McDonald's is just, they're building a system and they're going for consistency, right? And they, have got the marketing, they've got the whole package, right? So it's kind of, I'm not saying that they're the best, but I mean, you go to a McDonald's in Bangkok or Sydney, Australia, or Africa or whatever, you're going to get a Big Mac. It's going to taste the same. Is it a 10 out of 10? It's not going to be a 10 out of 10. But I don't know. Maybe what's a McDonald's? Maybe a 6, hard 6.
Like a solid 5 all the time.
Yeah, there you go. Airport, you're in like the Middle East or something, and you're like, of course, the food there is amazing. I'm just using it as an example.
Yeah.
What are you going to get? You're lost in the airport. You're hungry. You don't know what to get. You see a McDonald's. Okay, I'm going to get a Big Mac because I don't know what to get.
Nice.
Yeah.
And actually, Eddie, what you say is so right. Consistency is the key. Because before, like, I think that's just comes with trial and error during my first year of operating.
Yeah.
Before I used to like, well, 1 year, a little more now, a year and a half.
Congrats.
We're still trying. We're still trying.
Yeah, man. Let's
1
go.
year and a half, but also like 6 months of COVID. So that sucked.
Oh, COVID was bad.
Yeah. So what happened was, before I used to do like marketing, and it would take so long to write big, long captions and then like edit, make sure everything is perfect.
That's tough. Yeah.
And then my wife is like, nah, scratch that. Just make a post every day and show everyday life at the gym.
Mm-hmm.
It's better than you trying to make some like ingenuine, like fake posts every day and selling classes. And just like, and that's a secret because before, and now I have way better traffic. Because before I just be like, I think I'll try too hard. I'll try too hard. I'll try to like make the marketing perfect.
Yeah.
I'll make my caption perfect.
Yeah.
You'll be 4 or 5 days. I'll have one post. But now it's just like, hey, this is what we do at this gym. Hey, this, and actually Dimitri does that very well too. Dimitri from
Bear's Den, right?
Yeah, Dimitri from Bear's Den. He just shows his everyday life, and then we kind of show our everyday life. Just like, hey, this is that. And then now the traffic being way better, and that's actually the truth because you'd rather do one small thing consistently every day than do one big thing every now and then.
Yeah.
And training is the same way too.
Well, I 100% because I think sometimes, like even with YouTube, right? Like I've had these interviews, and I'll get, comedians and MMA fighters and BJJ guys and entrepreneurs and CEOs and just like a big mix of people. And then you're like, oh man, I landed, this giant YouTuber, this video is going to blow up. And it doesn't. The BJJ video gets more views than the big YouTuber, And it's like, you don't know because you're sitting there, you're prepping for like a week on this one video and you don't even know. So I also think, recently I started putting out like shorts and stuff like that, like every day. Like I've got this software, I can show it to you, that I kind of upload my long form podcast, and then it'll just use AI to kind of chop it up, and I'll take the little clips that I want, and just every day you post, right?
Yeah.
And it's been amazing. It's been amazing for me. I had this, you get a few hundred views, a few thousand views, sometimes like 5,000 views. And I had one that I posted like 6 months ago and I thought would blow up. And it didn't. It got like 200 views. And I thought, well, that's ridiculous. And then I reposted it when I was in Canada like 2 weeks ago for same exact thing. I changed the headline. That's it. And with a YouTube short, you can't even pick a thumbnail. You change the headline, and I made it like a little bit controversial or whatever. And it's still blowing up right now. It's on 40,000 views.
Whoa.
And it's like, that's crazy. It's crazy. So, yeah, you just got to keep pushing, and you kind of got to pivot a little bit and stuff like that. And
so the key is only controversial, eh?
It was crazy. It was crazy because usually it's kind of like people would say like a vanilla sort of thing, like, hey, this guy got, from the streets to, like, I've had a musician that just got 50 years in Taiwan. He's 80, 50, he started on the streets doing music in Paraguay. And, I posted one thing and I'm like, I put some like headline and stuff, and it got like hardly any views. And I was kind of like, wow, that's crazy. Cause I thought that would blow up. Yeah. But then, you can't really tell. So I would say consistency, keep pushing it. And you got to believe in your dream because, again, with this restaurant, there's so many people that are like, oh, Eddy's Canadian, he's not Mexican. I get a lot of shit from a lot of the
Mexicans
from the Mexicans, man. Oh, dude. Oh, God. We got to talk about that maybe off the record. But I get a lot of shit from a lot of people. But I'm like, if these guys want to come, I get some guys on and we chat, and I'm trying to share. This whole platform is for sharing stories like yours and getting, some kids going into BJJ, adults doing BJJ. My daughter loves BJJ.
Yeah.
Yeah, just sharing cool stories, man. But, you're still, no matter what you do, you're still going to get shit. That's my point.
Yeah. And actually, I think what's important is you know your own brand, right? You like, you're not going for like Mexican, like street food style Mexican food, right?
Yeah.
And that's what started to realize was my brand too. Because before I used to be like, I'm going to teach like gi class. And the truth is, I don't love the gi. Like, I like the gi, but I don't love it. If you tell me that I have to choose one for the rest of my life, it'd just be no gi. And if you tell me if there's points or submission only, it would just be submission, right?
Submission only, no gi.
Submission only, no gi is kind of how I teach my student, because sometimes before I met David Way, I don't even know how to count points. Like, I'll just be like, yeah, just stay on top, and then, but then see, now I try to be more authentic and be like, yeah, guys, I don't know the gi, so I want to teach gi 1 day a week now.
Okay.
And then the rest of the 5-6 days is just gonna be no gi. And sometimes now, even some of my students will be like, it'll be a gi class, they'll have the gi in the bag, and we gotta teach a no gi class first, and then whoever want to stay have like a gi class.
Yeah.
And then they'll like, oh, and then I'll get into a topic so deep in no gi, and they'll be like, should we still do the gi? And then I'll be like, all right, guys, just put the gi back in the bag here.
Yeah. We're skipping gi for the day. Yeah.
And I'll be like, no, but the key thing is consistency, right? I still try to have like 2 solid gi class a week. There's like super competitive one on Thursdays, and there's like a beginner's one on Wednesdays. But usually it's like no gi, sub only, like all that stuff. And it's important to know your brand too. And I know this is like my brand. Like most people know me for like the no-gi, sub-only, not-so-orthodox jiu-jitsu guy. No, there's no point for me to teach, like, super legit collar chokes and, like, gi guards and stuff, because the truth is, I cannot master those guards. I haven't mastered those guards yet, and I will feel ingenuine to just teach about it, right? Just, for example, like, if you're in a restaurant, you are not trying to sell, like, snake tequila in the middle of...
Yeah, no, I understand 100%.
Exactly.
Quick story about that. When I was in Danshui, when I was new, just like you, this was 15 years ago, whatever. I had this Taiwanese lady. She came in, and you know, she just sees, oh, you know, Western restaurants. They don't know what Mexican is. They don't just think Western, right? Yeah. So they come in, and she's just like, oh, new Western place, and we're like, well, we're Mexican. She's like, okay, so I'll have one. She doesn't look at the menu. She's like, I'll have 1 spaghetti, 1 hamburger, and what kind of pizza do you guys have? And I'm like, yeah, we don't have pizza, spaghetti, or hamburgers. And she's just like, what? She's shocked. I'm like, no, this is a Mexican restaurant. We have like, again, nowadays people kind of know what tacos are and burritos, but 15 years ago they didn't know anything here, right? They didn't know anything about Mexican food. So she's just kind of like, what taco? What is that? You know? And your wife's Japanese. I think in Japanese, taco means like squid.
Yeah, squid.
The first time I seen like a taco sign, I was like, oh, hey, you go in and it's like squid. Like, what the hell? You know, that's not a taco. But yeah, so basically she's like, okay, well, let me give you some advice. She's telling me, this lady who's knows nothing about the restaurant business, has never had nothing, like zero. She's like, well, so for a Western restaurant to survive or be successful in Taiwan, you need to have a burger or spaghetti or pizza. Or, if you really want to stretch it, German pig feet, German pork knuckle.
Oh, God. Taiwanese love those German pork knuckles.
The German pork knuckle.
They even have it at like a Pixie Mart. I'm like, who gets German pork knuckle at a Pixie Mart?
Yeah, so basically, So, I mean, we didn't fold and say, okay, well, let's sell pizzas now, you know. Because, we just kept pushing, and it did take a bit longer than, you know, it probably should have. But now we're here. We got a great spot. And again, one of my favorite things, again, is to do this podcast, and because I love sharing these stories, and I love hearing these stories. And yeah, man, when I was going to start the podcast, again, you know, you're a restaurant guy, you're a successful guy. Who's going to care what you have to say? Nobody's going to care. Yeah. One guy even told me, let me ask you something, Eddie. And I'm like, oh, shit, okay. What's up? You know it, right? You're like,
when he sits you down and be like, hey, Eddie, come take a seat. I got to talk to you.
And it's just like, come. And I'm like, oh, no. Does the world really need another podcast? You know, he says that to me, right? And it's like, oh, and I'm like, well, you know what? I'm going to try it, and we'll see what happens. And yeah, there's a lot of podcasts out there, but I love this, you know. People always say, you know, you should stop the podcast and just do like cooking videos. And I'm like, I don't want to do that.
Exactly.
You know, I don't want to. I love chatting with the BJJ guys, the MMA guys. I love chatting with business owners. I love that. It's great. I could do it forever for free. I would do it. You know what I mean? But if it's like, oh, I got to go in there and, you know, prep everything and do a cooking class and be like, hey, you know, I don't really want to do that. Am I saying I'll never do that? I don't know if I'll never do it, but for now, I'm super happy doing this.
Yeah, I think it's important to be authentic and be like, and then sometimes people give you advice. It's like, oh, I gotta go to complete opposite direction, and it works out.
For sure.
And some people give you an advice, you completely go towards that direction, and it works out.
Yeah.
And just kind of like what vibes your frequency is what I believe.
Yeah.
Like I believe, like one of the most important tips I got on running a gym was actually from my friend Ryan Fernandez from Kaohsiung BJJ. Shout out to Ryan.
Shout out Kaohsiung BJJ.
Yeah. All right. So what he said was, hey man, just like have a good vibe. Don't even like really think about the class. Like he's like, obviously you know your jiu-jitsu because he and I actually face. So he knows I know my jiu-jitsu, but he's like, just run a good vibe. And I'm like, oh. And then I've been doing that. It's been way better. So like it's like for at AZ, it's like kind of like a small little family. Like we go out drinking, we go out like eating, we go eat xiaoyes, we come back. Because the gym is not super big right now. So then right now we just have like a group of 5, 6. We just like go out drinking and then KTVing and come back.
Nice.
And there are some wild stories, and actually made me more like responsible as a business owner now.
Yeah.
Because like when some of my students get a little off the rails, it's like, all right, business spirit gotta kick in. I need my students to survive so they can come into class on Monday. I was like, you're going home now.
What's your go-to KTV song? First one.
Oh man, my go-to KTV song.
Do you have one?
I have tons.
Yes.
Wait. Wow.
You have to, bro.
Well, depending on what part of the night it is, right? Obviously, it's the classic. There's the Backstreet Boys, right?
Nice.
But
Everybody. Yeah.
The thing about KTV in Taiwan is it's kind of like fishing for treasure because you're like, man, they have all these shitty songs, and oh, this is a good one, and then you're like,
Yeah, for sure.
yeah. So
You get pretty good at Frank Sinatra.
yeah. What was my go-to song? Before in Canada, because before there was kind of like sketchier, so they have like YouTube and you can just click all the songs. Let It Burn is pretty good by Usher. I love that one.
Beauty. Okay,
Yeah.
Nice.
Yeah, I love some Usher. Wait, what else? Yeah, there's a lot of good ones. Yeah, like Let It Go is a good one too. Let It Go, Let It Burn, a lot of Let stuff.
Nice.
Yeah, like.
Right on.
Yeah, some Taiwanese songs too. Yeah.
Yeah, that's awesome, bro. So, like, you have obviously you're gonna have like BJJ. It's a small but growing community thing in Taiwan, right? Like it's in the last 5 years, it's way bigger than it was 5 years ago,
it's
right?
Blowing up.
So which is great. So obviously that means there's going to be a lot of beginners, right? So how do you structure like when you get like you want to get down and dirty, you want to roll with like the high level no gi guys, but that's going to be like a 1%, right?
Ooh.
So probably how do you structure like you got beginners are coming in like let's say me, I'm a white belt, I'm pretty crap, but I like going try to lose some weight. I'll probably never compete because but how do you kind of structure your programs for somebody like that?
That's actually a great question. So it actually comes in all trial and error from before.
Yeah.
So here's how I like to think about like jiu-jitsu. It's kind of like a car, right? Like a jiu-jitsu. Before, back then, you can have a Maserati, like you have like all the engines, all the bells and whistles.
Yep.
Right. So before, I'll teach something like complicated, like a K-guard. Well, a K-guard is not that complicated, but to a beginner, they're like, what the fuck is a K-guard, right?
Yeah, I don't even know what that is, man.
Yeah, that's kind of when your shin goes inside. But
okay.
But here's what I realized. So how I structure my class now is like this. This week will be 4-guard week. And then in this 4-guard week, we're going to learn how to pass to half guard.
Okay.
And then half guard, we learn to side control. And side control, we learn to mount. And mount, because I know having the jiu-jitsu knowledge, mount, go to the back. Yeah. And then so each week is one major position.
Like building a car, building a house.
Yeah, so that's like, let's say a whole month down, it would be guard, half guard, side control, mount. Now, let's say the class is advanced. I'm still going to teach everybody the fundamentals.
Sure.
For example, I'm still going to teach like 4-guard, stand up, on jiu-jitsu head out there. 4-guard, stand up guard pass. Stand up guard pass, he pulls half guard. Okay. So at least, and then that will be the warm-up of the week.
Okay.
And then if you're a beginner, all you have to do is just to master the warm-up. Just master 4-guard to half guard. Then at least you will have an attack, right? At least in the 4-guard, I'll teach you an attack. I'll teach you how to get out of 4-guard. I'll teach you how to attack from 4-guard. Okay. One thing each is more than enough, right? Okay. If your brain cannot handle it, we can just learn 2 things for the whole week. 5 days a week, learn 2 things. It's not too difficult.
How do you, quick question on that, just for my selfish reason, how can you, like when you go to a class, let's say you go once a week, right? And then, somebody, like the sensei, the coach, they're also, they want to build they want to build you into a Maserati, like you're saying. But forget, I mean, I'm in my 40s. I forget shit all the time. So they'll be like, okay, remember what we did last week? Boom, boom, boom. And then you're like, I forgot. So what's
that's a good question. So that's now how I structure my class, right? So it's full guard to half guard.
Okay.
And that's all you remember. Let's say you come once a week.
Okay.
Whatever is, I said, it sounds more complicated than it is, but I guess it's not complicated, but I do jiu-jitsu for a while. Whatever is a Monday is always going to be connected to the next Monday.
Okay.
And then everything you learn for the rest of the week is based on the Monday. So let's say you forget. Let's say once a week you only come on the Monday.
On Monday.
Then you can just learn full guard to half guard, full guard attacks.
Good.
That's it.
I know your voice is way better when it's right on there. That's good. Keep going. I don't want to interrupt
so for
you.
full guard to half guard, and that's it. And then half guard to side control is a whole week of the other stuff, right?
Okay.
So then at least if you only come consistently on Monday, you will learn that.
Okay.
Right? Okay. So Monday is what I like call like the foundation class, I guess. So I kind of just like built the foundation of the most basic, because before I had this issue too, like yourself, because before I'll go to your class when it's like the jiu-jitsu, and then the instructor that week feels like teaching the berimbolo.
Yeah.
But then like I don't even know De La Riva. How can I even do a berimbolo? And then I will be so confused on what a berimbolo is.
Yeah.
And then I'll be like, oh God, this is, and then because you don't have the foundation, now when I see these instructors teach, I'm like, all right, what they're teaching is actually not that hard, right?
Yep.
But then now, for example, now if you come on Monday, you'll learn all the fundamentals.
Okay.
And then the fundamental actually becomes my warm-up. I guess it's a controversial way to teach, because everyone like to do the shrimping, the rolling forward, the rolling backwards, all that stuff.
Okay.
I do teach that stuff, but I only teach that stuff when it's relevant to today's topic. Right? There's no point for me to teach you how to shrimp if today we are learning arm bar from mount, for example.
Okay. Yeah.
If this week we are learning arm bar from mount and hitchhiker escape, I ain't gonna touch shrimp, because you're not gonna have the context of putting the shrimp into the arm bar from mount.
Okay.
So this week I might as well teach you shoulder roll, and I'm gonna teach you like top spin. See, I teach you top spin to arm bar. I teach you shoulder roll to get out of hitchhiker escape, right? And for example, like your question, let's say you come on Tuesday, and you come on Monday, but because now Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, we're gonna use Monday's fundamentals as the warm up.
Okay.
And we progress deeper and deeper and deeper into things. So let's say you're advanced, I'll be like, all right, this week you know the basics of breaking out of full guard. Okay. Now let me show you the star sweep. Let me show you the imanari.
Okay.
But all from that. But then let's say you are a brand new like instructor.
Yeah.
No, let's say a brand new student. You come to my class. Okay. You will still understand, because it's kind of like a building block, right? Yeah. Because before I used to have the same problem too. Before I would just teach like, actually I stole this from my friend Marshall. Actually, shout out to Marshall.
Marshall Stamper, love that guy.
Because one time I attended Marshall's class, and I was like, "Are you gonna do shrimp?" He's like, "No." He's like, "We're just gonna do arm bar for 5 minutes, the most perfect arm bar you can do for 5 minutes, not close, not fast, not slow, just perfect for 5 minutes." I'm like, interesting.
Okay.
And I kind of stole his thing where it's the fundamentals.
Okay.
And I did that. So I used the fundamentals to teach the next class,
Gotcha.
Right?
Okay.
Yeah,
Nice.
and every class, how I like to teach is that I like to teach that move, a move, and how to counter that move. And then that's it. So you know a move and you know its counter. And that we don't have to learn anything else, right?
Okay.
So let's say you're a very slow learner, and then let's say you don't have a lot of time. You have once a week. Then at least once, if you consistently come to class once a week, then at least what you learned last week will connect to stuff this week.
Okay.
Right? If let's say you come once every 3 weeks, that may be a little harder. But then maybe we're still like in a similar lane, then you can still make that connection in your head.
Okay.
Yeah,
okay.
That's how I like to teach class.
Nice.
It comes with some trial and error. Now I feel like this is the best way for my student to learn, because now I see my students like progression just go up. Because before it's like I'll teach competitors things, and I was like, oh well, they're not really actually getting the fundamentals.
Okay.
But then if I teach just purely the fundamental, the old school way, I was like, they're never gonna progress to where it's applicable to the students.
Okay.
Right? Because they'll learn shrimp. They'll spend a 1 hour class. They will spend 15 minutes to master the shrimp.
Okay.
And then they will take 15 minutes to learn arm bar. And those things don't connect each other. And they do a shitty shrimp and do a shitty arm bar. right? I might as well spend 30 minutes on the armbar and then teach them 30 minutes how to get out of the armbar because then they know.
Then they got like that arm bar, boom, in their toolkit. They're like, okay, we got an arm bar.
And then you know how to get out of the armbar, right? It makes a connection in your head. Yeah, that's I don't know it's the best way. I'm still trial and error. It's kind of like food, right? But then
for sure.
But then this is why I think is actually making progression with my students, because then I can see the progression week by week.
Okay.
Because before something I was like, oh, this doesn't make sense. But now it's like, all right, now you know this move connect to this move connect to this move.
Okay.
Right? And since on my jiu-jitsu experience, I kind of be like, all right. And sometimes I play around with it too, right? Because sometimes I go mount, all right. Mount, sometimes we go, okay, how do I teach mount? This week I'm going to teach the back. Like, it forces me to remember moves I need to know too.
Okay.
And I was like, all right, then I need to teach them quarter guard, and I need to teach them the ninja roll from quarter guard. And then they get to the back.
Do you think coaching more has improved your personal game?
Oh, yes, definitely has improved my personal game.
Okay.
Yeah. But I also think competing less also improves my personal game too. But I actually compete more now. But what I realized is that I compete too much. Like it's like a soup, right? You boil it down to its pure essence, which is great. But then it's not everybody's flavor. You know what I mean?
Oh, wow. I like that.
Yeah.
Good.
You boil it down. It's not everybody's flavor. And then it's like, well, this is how I would do it. And then if I compete, I'll force all my students to do the shit I'm working on this week.
Okay.
Right.
Okay.
That I'm personally working on this week. And it would just be, especially in the gis, there's not a lot of no-gi competition. Oh, shout out to guys, yeah. If you look at no-gi orientated stuff, come to me, AZ Fight Club. So, but if there'll be a lot of gi orientated stuff, I'll be like, all right, this week we're just going to learn guard pass.
Okay.
And it's not useful to my student because there'll be some advanced concept and advanced body movements that wouldn't help them,
So teaching something advanced to a white belt is like, that's...
Yeah, it helps me.
Yeah.
It helps me to compete and stuff, but it doesn't really help my students in terms of their progression. You know what I mean?
So you have to have this fine line between what's going to help you, but also going to help your students.
Yeah, it's a fine line between teaching what I want to teach and what I need to teach.
Okay.
Right? So for example, a lot of the times in mount, I would do a leg lock, right? I'll do ashi just to as a counter. I cannot teach all my students to give out 12 points. I need to teach them to get out of mount escape,
Yeah, of course. Okay.
Yeah.
Beauty, man. So let's talk a little bit about, so if you guys are curious to check out AZ Fight Club, in the description below, we've got the Facebook page, we've got the Instagram page. Send this guy a DM or
September
PM,
16th.
whatever you want. Yeah.
September 16th, open mat, free food, everybody welcome. All right.
Okay, that sounds great, man. We'll definitely go check that out. Okay. So, obviously right now we're drinking coffee, which is good because I just came back from Canada, and every time I go back to Canada, I get really fat. So obviously I'll come back, and then I'll start to do some fasting, some intermittent fasting, maybe some a couple day fast or whatever. And you mentioned you're fasting as well, so tell me a little bit about that. We got a
Dreamer's
Shout
Coffee.
out to Dreamer's Coffee, right?
Well, actually, I started fasting back in Canada. Wait, can you bring out the picture of me being real fat in Canada?
Okay, yeah. Oh, this one. Boom.
Yeah, see? You see it? You see how thick I look right now? And that's my professor, Professor Greg. Right now, he runs a big team in Toronto, so shout out to Professor Greg.
So this is where you started?
Yeah, no, this is...
Because you're
Professor
purple
Greg
already,
is,
right?
Yeah. Professor Greg is my second jiu-jitsu professor.
Okay.
My second jiu-jitsu professor, yeah. So and this is why I was competing too. I was very competitive in Canada too, but my weight would just blow up in between
Portions are massive in Canada too.
Yeah, maybe bring it off now. It's scaring me how thick I look.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right.
It's scary.
So tell me about the fasting. Let's go.
So before I used to because if anyone who knows me, I'm a fat ass deep down. I can put away food. I can eat I can eat 9,000 calories in a meal easily. I'm just it gets to the point where my wife's like, you gotta stop. And I'm like, no. But
all you can eat buffets. Let's go.
In Taiwan the buffet game is so strong, and then I would like to challenge myself. But here's what I realized about fasting, right? It's kind of like what I talked about with consistency. So it's before I would try to go hard fast and in between, hard fast in between, and I realized that doesn't actually not a good way to live, because you don't develop any consistency, because you go a hard 36-hour fast and then you splurge. I still splurge now, But what I realized is that is the 80-20 rule. You got to have consistency throughout.
Okay.
And actually, like, I put the fasting into my training camp,
Okay.
and then to actually space it out.
Okay.
You know, for example, like what I suggest to people when they first started fasting is first consistency. Have a schedule you can stick with.
Okay.
Right. Don't go for something that's super hard. You're gonna be like, oh, I heard about the benefit of 36-hour dry fast.
Yeah.
Let me do a 36-hour dry fast. You'll feel like shit afterwards, and you won't be able to do anything.
Yeah.
Right. Progress consistency. So it's like, all right, maybe I'll do 3 days a week of 16 to 16-8 first.
16-8. Yep.
Yeah. And then the second thing is make adjustments, right? Because, for example, before I used to fast on coffee, but I'll drink too much coffee.
Okay.
And I'll have some digestive issues, and because it'll burn through my stomach line because coffee is really acidic.
Yeah.
And so then I'll be like, all right, if this week I realize I'm trying to do a cleanse, it's just going to be water and soda water, right?
Yep.
And it depending on how I feel. So consistency and adjustment.
Okay.
Right?
Yeah.
And then that's how I usually approach a fast. So
Okay.
it's like 16-8. And then now the third thing, the third thing is progression. So it's kind
Okay.
of like a workout, right? You want to do consistently something first, you make some adjustments, then you progress a little further.
So so you suggest people want to start fasting, just start with intermittent fasting.
Yeah, just start with 16-8 first and 3 days a week. And
Cutting food out completely is tough.
Yeah, and space it out, right?
Yeah.
So you go Monday, Wednesday, Friday. That's a pretty good start, right? And
Okay.
then Friday you can enjoy your weekend. That's how I would suggest most people.
Okay.
See,
Yeah.
so first thing is consistency, then modification, and then the third thing is progression, right?
Okay.
And now you realize, all right, I can handle 16-8. Even if you don't handle 16-8, do 12-12. Just
Okay.
like don't eat that xiaoye at night, right? I'm a bit bad at that, but
That's the worst part. Yeah, because for me, I can skip breakfast. It's all easy. I can have one meal a day easily.
Yeah.
But then, we get back, home. You're watching a movie or whatever. Wife starts making some of that Korean pao mian, and you're like, oh.
Yeah. So, but that's the key thing too, right? Because number 2 is modification. If you realize you're like a xiaoye pao mian type of person,
Yeah.
then put your fasting towards the end of it. Then have your big meal at night.
Okay.
Obviously, I know that people say that, oh, you store your
Before
glycogen
bed,
level, you go
yeah.
to sleep, and then whatever you eat is no longer transferred. That is very true. But like I said, rather have a consistency in
Okay.
your fasting schedule than be like, oh no, I'm not gonna eat xiaoye. Fuck, I broke my fast, and now I'm eating.
Now bring out the Reese peanut butter cups.
Exactly. I'm like that way too. It's like if I'm going in, I'm going all the way in.
All in, baby.
All
Okay.
in, yeah. So
Gotcha.
yeah, shout out to Eddy.
No, man, I agree 100%. Like for me too, like I can do like, the 3 day or the the week or whatever, because I'll just be like David Goggins. I'll just do it, do this or die. But then at the end, stay hard. But then at the end, you're like, well, I did 10 days. I'm gonna reward myself, and then you just pig out and you feel like crap. That happened to me so many times.
Yeah.
And it's like, oh.
And that's why modification and testing is important too, because what they said, I don't know, I'm not a doctor or anything. I just watch a lot of YouTube videos. And obviously, with competition, I test myself too. You don't want to fast every day because your metabolism slows down.
Yeah, that makes sense. Yeah.
Yeah, you don't want to fast every day. Your metabolism slows down. So you might as well. For example, I get on and off fast depending on if I'm competing or not, right?
Okay.
If I'm competing this week,
Yeah.
then it's my fasting is kind of like my extra gear.
Okay.
So I'll eat the same caloric intake, but then by fasting, I will lose 2 to 3 pounds that way.
Okay.
Yeah. Because I'm timing my eating, I'm not pigging out at night, and I'm more aware of what my eating window is.
Yeah.
And that's what I'm talking about, like progression, right? So before I would suggest it's like 2 style fasting for me. There's like the lifestyle fasting where it's like 3 days a week and the 16-8, and then you like just watch it. And then there's competition level fasting where if I'm in a competition season, because like I look lean now because I did like 3 tournaments like in 45 days, so I look lean now.
Unbelievable! Wow.
Yeah. No, that was tiring. Yeah, that was never gonna do that again. But I probably need more rest after this. But what I'm saying is, when the competition style level fasting, that I'll use it based on like my training unit. for example, if today
is that like similar to the weight cuts that UFC fighters and stuff have to make? Similar or not really?
Probably something less intense, but then you know, I still time myself. For example, like there will be fasting and so how I would do is that I would time my training unit along with my nutrition, along with my fasting. Like a good example is that like on my strength day, I will make sure that it's not a long fast. So because on a competition level, I'll just alternate between 16-8, 18-6, 16-8, 18-6.
Okay.
So I will fast for 18 one day, fast for 16 one day, maybe 12, something like that. And then there's a day where I eat like multiple meals a day, and there's a day where I just eat one meal a day.
Okay.
And then what I would do is that, for example, for my training unit is that, let's say today I know I'm going hard training, I'm lifting weights.
Yeah.
Then I will time my glycogen level. I'll time my glycogen intakes. For example, like carbs or sugar.
Yeah.
Don't eat that much sugar. Like right before I go for the hard training.
Okay.
And then I eat, and then I sub myself with protein, and then I start fasting.
Okay.
I don't want to. For me to get the most out of training, I would make sure that I'm not fasting during training, because that before too, and my training suffers.
I was gonna say, like, for example, like for me, who, you know, again, I'm fasting right now. I love the benefits, but I'm doing it because I gained 10 freaking kilos in Canada, right? But when I you know, things get back in back to normal, you know, I take my daughter to school, and then I go to the gym. But I go like completely empty stomach. So I always hear sort of yes, that's very good because you're going to burn off your fat. And then like, negative is like, that's going to affect your training. You're not going to be able to push as much. So what do you think? What do you think about that? Like going to exercise fasted on an empty stomach?
Well, here's what I'll suggest, right? After you take your daughter to school, I would suggest that you have your first meal before you start working out. Then you're satiated. Then you work out. No, you eat, you work out, then you eat again.
Or small meal, okay.
Exactly. See, because then you can still have your fasting window, and then you'll be satiated, right?
Okay.
But just give it some time in between, right? And it's one of the few times that you can have a little bit of sugar, like fructose and stuff, have a little bit of fruit.
In the morning.
Yeah, in the morning right before your workout, because then at least your body have the fructose to like push you through a workout. You know what I mean?
Empty stomach, no good.
Yeah. That's why I would suggest, depending on what kind of, but on the other hand, depending on what you're doing in the gym, right? For example, if like it's a cardio day, and I need to cut, I will do a fastest cardio in the middle of my fast.
Okay.
So let's say I'm like on a 24-hour water fast day, and I realize I'm still like 5 kg away.
Okay.
Then I will be like, all right, I'm doing a 24-hour fast, and I'm doing like a hard hit session.
Okay.
In between.
Okay.
Like, it's bad, but also you realize your body is like a machine. It's like, okay. At least my body goes like, all right, now we are going hard, so I can handle this. Okay. And that's why I mean the progression is very important.
Okay.
Because you don't want to jump in right away into a 24-hour fast with hard cardio.
Yeah.
Right away. Then you will feel like shit afterwards. Right?
Yeah. It's happened
so you
before.
go from 12, you go from 16, you go from 18, you do 24, and then you like, all right, can I work out? Maybe. All right, now I can work out. I can work out hard. Okay. And then you get at that point, right?
Progression.
Because now I've been fasting at this point, like 3 years now at this point.
Okay.
Well, I didn't fast during the COVID because, you know, COVID was rough on everybody.
We all got fat on COVID, I think.
Yeah,
right?
that COVID was real rough. But then that's what I would suggest, right? So consistency, modification, progression, and then just, you know, listen to your body. And yeah.
Beautiful. So you're done tournaments for a little bit right now?
Yeah, I think I'm done tournaments.
Coming up?
There's nothing coming up right now.
Okay.
I don't think. But actually, I'm thinking about running a tournament soon.
Perfect.
Soon in December.
Tell me about that. Tell me the idea about running a tournament, like from scratch. Let's create a tournament. I'm all in to help if anything I can do.
Thanks,
Anything I can do.
I'm just thinking about it. You know, I'm just thinking about planning and putting the seeds down, spread the word out there, put out the back signal.
Yeah.
So it just, because I feel like in Taiwan, at least since the jiu-jitsu scene is still young, everybody is very like gi and point orientated.
Yes, it's all very, very gi, because gi is like Olympics. Gi is like
the national
kid friendly, national
which
team,
is great.
family friendly. Yes.
Yeah, which is great. It's family friendly and it's points. It doesn't get hurt. But I want to do something a little different. Yeah. And I want like a more of a no gi orientated submission only style. That's what I like to do.
Yes.
Right.
I love it.
Yeah. And then it'll be something different. Like it's kind of like different Mexican food, like you said, right?
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah. So then,
Test it out.
And then it may not be everybody's slice of pie, but I feel like that style that translate better into like MMA.
Yeah.
Like this weekend. Yeah, we're gonna talk about WTD later. Yeah.
Yes.
So yeah, it translate better for MMA. Translate for better for self-defense too, right?
Yeah, I was gonna. Yeah.
You don't want to be really good at jiu-jitsu and you're really good at guard passing, and then you get to the streets and you're like, oh no, I cannot sub this guy.
Yeah.
You cannot be like, hey dude, I got 4 points on you.
Yeah.
And then
it's like that. It's like Taekwondo when they're jumping, and then they kind of kick somebody, and then they back up, and they're like, yeah. And it's just like,
yeah.
What happened?
Yeah, but
Olympic Taekwondo, right?
Yeah,
which
but
is with nothing wrong with, but it's just I'm always confused.
But then sub only also has some rule sets too. That's kind of controversial too, because actually me and one of my best friends, David, talk about this before when we were on the national team. Is that he's like, yeah, I know you love the no-gi sub only thing, but then he's like, what you realize is that the no-gi sub only thing actually sometimes promotes even less submissions, based on the rule set of the tournament.
Okay.
Because I don't know if you watch EBI. Do you watch EBI?
Yeah, the Eddie Bravo. Yeah,
the EBI,
Eddie Bravo,
right?
Yeah, of course.
So the thing is, what you realize watching EBI now is that a lot of people would just game weight until it's overtime, and then there'll be people they shouldn't be in overtime.
True. I don't know all the rules for that.
Yeah.
And kind of in the overtime, there's like the
there's
the
kind of
back
like
take thing, right?
It's like the shootout, right?
Yeah.
And one of my friend David is like saying, but think about it. If in the gi is a 20-minute match, you lose by 4 points. You lose by 7 points. You have to freaking sub this guy.
Okay.
Right? And that actually promotes more submissions than sub only, because sub only people just wait until like it's overtime. That's why if I run a tournament, I'm gonna think about it. I'm thinking about what I think is really good right now is the 1FC rule.
Okay.
Have you heard about it?
Tell me about that.
No, the 1FC rule is great. The
1FC
rule is like this.
Yeah.
So it's kind of like they would base it on legit sub attempts. So they would call it a catch.
Oh.
Let's say you catch me in an arm bar.
Okay.
And then like a guard pass, like 3 counts, like, and I'm like, then you get 1 catch.
Okay.
And then at the end of the match, it'll base on how many catch the person get.
Oh, that's cool.
So if I get two of you in
submission attempt, right?
Yeah. So if I catch you in a rear naked choke and there's like 3 counts and you're like, and then I get another catch, and now I need to submit you or literally get 1 more catch for me to win the match.
Okay.
Which I think is way better, because EBI. I don't know if the jiu-jitsu heads out there. Like, I love Nicky Rod. He's like, oh gosh, so fantastic, athletic.
Gordon Ryan.
Yeah. But like Nicky, for example, like Nicky Rod. If Nicky Rod and Gordon Ryan go on like a no time only, sub only, I believe that Gordon Ryan will win.
Yeah.
But then because Nicky Ryan is so athletic that he has great guard passing too. He got great guard passing. Like he can force into overtime, which still Gordon Ryan won. Right?
Yeah.
But I'm just saying the likelihood of submission will definitely happen in a no time only, sub only rule. But then I also get it too, because no time only, sub only is not very appetizing to watch, because a lot of time it gets 2 hours and stuff.
Yeah.
And that's why I think the 1FC rule is better, right?
Yeah, it's like the old UFC days where it was like Shamrock and Gracie fought for like an hour.
Yeah.
Like nonstop, no rounds, which is like, wow. And then it was a draw, I believe. Yeah.
No, actually, it'll be when Nicky Rod fight Gordon Ryan, actually, Nicky Rod, they put on a lot of good attacks too. But I'm saying is both of them attack, but I think it promotes more attack.
Okay.
If it's more based on 1FC rule than the EBI rule.
Yeah, and more attack is people enjoy watching. Yeah, and it's more exciting.
And it's more appealing too, right? Because a lot of time my student asked me too, because I don't teach them points. They're like, hey, who won? And I'm like, I don't know. And I know. I was like, the bottom guy won. He's like, how did that happen? I was like, he had an advantage for throwing up a triangle. He's like, oh, okay.
Yeah, that's tough. Yeah. No, I think no gi is good because because it translates more, right, into like, okay, obviously jiu-jitsu and martial arts, I mean, it's, for sport and for exercise and all that, but one of the main benefits is obviously self-defense, right? Yeah, so I mean,
one is not better than the other. I don't want to like poo-poo on the gi.
Yeah.
Like, it's not personally what I love the most.
Yeah.
but I can see the benefits of it, right?
Yeah.
But then it's like a different flavor. It's like why I like just promote something different than just because that's why my friend Dom, he also runs a gym out of in Vancouver. What he's saying, he's like, dude, it's like because I think you have Mario here.
Mario,
Mario, Bruno, Rafael, all those great guys, right? They're really great guys at UFC gym.
Yep.
And then they're like, dude, you never
Michael William.
Exactly, Michael. And they're like, yeah, great at the gi. Like, dude, there are already so many great gi schools in Taipei.
Yeah.
Who is gonna try to learn that from you? And he knows me too because Dom was like one of my first instructor. He's like, I know you. You don't like the gi. I was like, I know, but I like to compete. And he's like, yeah, but you know. And then I was like, why not do something different? Do something that no other people are doing. I was like, all right.
Well, also like Marshall. Marshall has also been on. Marshall's a great guy.
Oh, yeah. No,
Marshall's a big no-gi guy as well.
Oh, yeah. Marshall is a big no-gi guy. Yeah.
Love Marshall.
We train every Wednesday. I love that guy.
I love that. Yeah, he's a great guy. Yeah. Shoot, I just had a question I wanted to ask you, but I'll. So, tournament, right?
Yeah.
Just a quick thing. Obviously, I don't know how many years ago it was, but there was a no-gi tournament, right, at Dynasty.
Oh, yes,
right?
back in the day,
You competed, right?
Yeah.
You had the tag team thing. Michael William won the singles competition one.
Yeah.
That was, like, I went to watch.
Yeah.
I walked. It was great. I walked from here, right? Like 20-minute walk from here. Was one of the most fun. Like, I've been to UFCs live and stuff like that, and that was one of the most fun things I've ever went to. So I think that, something like that would translate. I think it would translate, like a no-gi competition that you're talking about.
Yeah.
I think it was amazing, and I think if we could, if there's anything I can do to help promote it, I'd love to go and watch this weekend. We're actually WOTDs this weekend.
Oh yeah, exciting fight card, man.
Yeah, we've got a really good fight card. We've got Blast.
Yes, we got Blast.
We got Blast. We got Tyson Liao, right?
Yeah.
We got a lot of the homegrown heroes here, which are awesome. And then one of the cool things is I know those guys camping them really, really well, and they're bringing more and more international fighters and stuff. Kai Wu was coming, to the last one, and I was always telling him we got to get have some English commentary, and he's kind of like, yeah, but camp is amazing. He's just it's the guy's super busy.
Oh yeah,
he's doing ONE FC and he's doing he's doing all that stuff. And I told him I'll do it. I'm not pro or whatever, but I'll do it. And so the last time, me and Matt Bateman, right?
Oh yeah, I love Matt too. Yeah, Matt's also a no-gi guy too.
Matt.
It's a small army of no-gi revolution that started.
Matt's actually my daughter's coach. Yeah.
No, Matt's great.
So Matt, Nazim, and from I think he's in Taichung, and Trey. So we did that, and it was so much fun. And I actually cut my vacation short. We're supposed to be there for another 3 or 4 days, but I wanted to get back and kind of get sorted out because this Sunday there's another WOTD.
Ooh, so are you going to do commentating as well?
We are,
That is amazing.
Yeah, I'm excited for that.
Yeah, I've been training Tyson for some jiu-jitsu, so it should be great.
Yeah, Tyson's got a good fight coming up. Yeah.
Oh yeah, Daniel.
Handsome Tyson. Oh yeah, handsome Tyson. Yes,
yeah,
that's
handsome.
Right.
Then Daniel is no joke.
He's Bears Den, right? Is he?
Yeah, Bears Den. Yeah, Bears
Den. Guy with the mohawk.
Yeah, the guy with a mohawk. He beat my friend
tough.
Andy last time. Actually, last time I was coaching against Daniel as well, so I know how good he is.
He's very good. Yeah,
he is very good. Yeah, they have a little street beef. They have a little online beef going on.
Some Twitter beef or some. What's the Taiwan equivalent to a Twitter beef here?
Well, it's kind of it's kind of like Daniel saying that, Tyson got you in guillotine, and Tyson's like, no, you got lucky, and I'm like, it's exciting stuff, but it's good. It's good. It's all good for the promotion. Yeah, you should bring it up.
I'm gonna bring that up in the commentary.
Yeah, it should be the most exciting fight.
Beautiful. Yeah, no, Tyson is always good. It's always good to watch him. Yeah,
Tyson, real slick striker.
He's good. He's perfect name for that guy. Yeah. So the whole point is, I think a tournament would be awesome, man. Anything we can do to promote that, we're all in for sure.
Yeah, well, it's still in the works right now. Just, guys, because I believe there are like some hidden gems of like no-gi sub-only fighters here in Taiwan.
Yeah.
Just they never have the opportunity to show themselves.
There's a guy called Soldier, right? Who's
Soldier is great.
Like
I roll
killer,
Soldier.
Right? Soldier.
Sometimes on Mondays and Thursdays. Soldier is amazing.
I've never met him, but I always hear that name come up, right?
Oh, no, Soldier is amazing. But Soldier is amazing both in the gi and no gi, but he's phenomenal in the gi. And that's...
really?
And if anything, it's a reckoning for myself. You're like, Yeah, I ain't gonna get as good as Soldier when I ain't gonna. When Soldier get to like my level of experience, he's gonna be way better than me at the gi.
Gotcha.
Because Soldier's gi is like wow.
Okay.
Shout out to Soldier, but like in terms of no gi, I'm like, no gi sub only may not definitely be Soldier's thing. I don't know. It may or may not because I fought him no gi sub only.
Okay.
And obviously I'm a bigger dude and and that, but Soldier is amazing in the gi. But that's what I mean, right? Because there are some people who can never beat Soldier in the gi, and I believe most Taiwan people in no gi, in gi, point, in ski sub only, nobody can beat Soldier, at least at that weight class, I believe, because Soldier is really that good.
Beautiful.
But I believe that like there are some hidden talents out there where the people who like, maybe like me doesn't like to count, you know, who doesn't like the idea of doing points, and then they can just be like, hey. And then they can come
roll till somebody wins.
Exactly.
Yeah,
and then they can come over to like the grand reopening and I can like see how good, you know, because I was thinking about putting some super fights together too.
Yeah.
Like I did back in the day in Dynasty.
Yeah.
But then because I believe there are hidden talents out there and just trying to find them and like, you know,
Beautiful.
if you have the time, come to Dynasty, say hi, and then like introduce yourself, roll, and I'll be like, oh yeah, dude, you're freaking amazing. Yeah, I'll try to find you an opponent or something like that.
Yeah,
it's still in the works, probably somewhere around December-ish, but that's what I mean. I just try to like at least put out the bat signal out there, try to garner the scene, and then be like, all right, wow, you are a great no-gi sub-only guy. Let's put you in the tournament.
Okay.
Yeah.
So if you are a no-gi guy, no-gi fan, definitely go down to AZ Fight Club. Where's the location, man?
Oh, Yanjijie, like across from the Huashi, like the Guofu Jinianguan Station.
Okay, like that's what's Chiang Kai-shek Memorial Hall,
Yeah,
right?
Chiang Kai-shek Memorial Hall.
CKS. Is it still Chiang Kai-shek Memorial Hall? I think so, right?
Yeah.
Okay, cool. Yeah, so Chiang Kai-shek Memorial Hall area. You're in that area. In the description below, don't forget to check out AZ Fight Club, right? We are looking to put together a big no-gi tournament.
Yeah.
You know, maybe December, targeting December, something like that.
Yeah, maybe an open first, and then we'll have some super fight. That's what I'm thinking. It'll be like open to all, and it'll be like everybody can compete in this style first.
Yeah.
And then maybe we can do like a little bit of a tour, and we can do a little bit of a super fight on people who are like actually like really good. And and we can put some fights together. Yeah.
Nice, man.
Yeah.
Dude, we've had a great chat here. So do you have any advice to people who are like the BJJ guys, maybe they're thinking about doing what you're doing? They want to take the next step, because obviously when you have passion for something, when you like something, you want to do it, that you want to turn kind of your hobby into your livelihood. Ooh. Right? They're taking your BJJ, you've got all the tools, and you're like, let's take the next step and let's do the BJJ coaching, let's do the gym.
Ooh, that's a good question.
Yeah.
So what advice I'll give somebody try to turn their hobby into a livelihood? Well, you know what? I haven't quite succeeded yet, but
we're all still working on it. But keep shooting.
We're all still work in progress. But what I would say is that it's gonna be harder than you think, but doesn't mean it's not worth doing. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And I think it's kind of like that. The never give up thing. I like Dreamers Coffee. Never give up.
Never Dreamers Coffee. Never give up.
Yeah,
right?
never give up on your dreams. It's kind of like that, right? Because it's gonna be way harder than you think it is. But it's kind of like you go to a gym. It's kind of like you go to like a training session. You know it's gonna be hard.
Yeah.
If you know it's gonna be hard, then it's actually not that hard, no matter how hard it is, because you expected it already, right?
Yeah. Yeah.
And also, I think the most important thing is like take ownership of your decisions.
Okay.
Because if, let's say, you decide to chase down this dream,
yes,
you realize, I think it was my wife who said this, or it was somebody else. I think my wife who said this. It's like, you pick this life, right? The thing is, I can right now just go back to work at a big box gym and teach jiu-jitsu and stuff. I'm not saying I'll definitely get a job, but I say I do have my appeal. I do have my experience and stuff. Just like so yourself, right? There's probably a point where somebody will gonna hire you to go to like a TGI Fridays. You can be like,
for sure,
probably be a manager at a TGI Fridays.
Dude, I taught English before.
Exactly.
Yeah. I can go teach it again if I have to. Yeah.
So it's not a hardship if you choose it, right? It's only a hardship if you didn't choose it. You knew this was gonna be hard coming in, and then you chose this life. So you shouldn't complain, because if you didn't choose it in the first place, you kind of put this on yourself.
Yeah.
And I think that's the mental gymnastics you gotta play with yourself.
Yeah.
If you go, oh, it's hard because you weren't expecting it. right? But if you knew what's gonna be hard and you chose it, you know it's gonna be hard and you still chose it anyway.
Yeah.
Then it's actually not that hard.
Yeah.
And that's I think is the most important. Aware that it's hard, but then once you make that decision, take ownership of the decision that, hey, I'm choosing this suffering.
Yeah.
Right? I'm choosing the suffering for a dream, and that's what I learned in the past 2 years. Yeah.
Beautiful. I love that. And also, you stay hard, right?
Stay hard. Always stay hard.
You got to stay hard. But also, it's just like, yeah, I mean, you could go back. Like for me, there was many times where I thought maybe I should just go back and teach. But the topic always comes up with entrepreneurs. But when you get to the point where you're like, okay, you know, you burn the boats. You're like, you cut the safety net. You're like, I'm not going back. I'm never going back. I'm going to do this or I'm going to die, right? That seems to be when it kind of swings up and your brain gets really creative. And yeah, you're like, you got to figure out Facebook ads. You got to figure out all this stuff you got to figure out. And
oh, yeah.
it happens, man. It takes time to get to that spot.
Yeah.
But yeah.
And that's why furnishing the gym, right? I took out a small loan and I'm like, I'm gambling it all. It's kind of like jiu-jitsu. I'm like putting all my chips in one basket and just dive right into it.
I love it, man.
Yeah.
Appreciate it, man. So, I mean, I think we've done an hour already. Time flies,
wow.
right? Yeah.
It's always great chatting with you.
It was beautiful. It's always my pleasure to chat with you, brother.
Always,
yes.
always.
AZ Fight Club. Do you have anything you want to add before we call it?
No, guys. Just September 16th, drop by, say hi. That's all. No pressure.
Okay.
There'll be food and drinks and stuff, and yeah.
If you guys want to go check out an amazing jiu-jitsu club, AZ Fight Club, grand reopening.
Yeah.
September 16th,
Yeah.
right? Go check it out. If you don't know anything about jiu-jitsu, now's a good time to go check it out. Appreciate it.
All right, thanks,
My
Eddie.
man, this guy right here.
All right.
Thank you guys for watching. Appreciate it. If you want to check out AZ Fight Club, in the description below, we've got the links for the Facebook, we've got links to the Instagram. And if you guys are free this weekend, go check out the WOTD in Taipei Gymnasium. Yeah, you're going to go check it out? You can be there?
Of course. I'll be there.
Yeah.
I'll be there.
Meet the man in person.
All right. I'm so excited for the fight card this weekend.
Yeah, it's a really good card. Really good card.
There's Blast, there's Tyson, there's Hoshun. Yeah, it's
awesome.
There's Daniel Lian. Shout out to Daniel. Man, everybody I train with. There's Hurricane.
Oh, that's a good name.
Yeah.
All right.
Yeah, it's gonna be great.
Beautiful. Thanks, guys, for checking out the show, and we'll see you next time.
See you next time. Bye.